You know you're not very green-fingered when your plants turn into a big blob of sludge. Would you like to see how the propagation of my snake plant is going? As you'll know, my plant was on its last legs, it was dying, and so I cut it all up into little bits and tried to propagate them in both water and in soil. Let me show you how it's going. So these are the ones in soil. As you can see, they are browning at the top and going squishy at the bottom. I don't think any of those are going to be growing roots anytime soon. And here, these are the ones that I propagated in water. They are just a big pile of sludge. This is what happens every single time I try and propagate snake plants. I'm still organising the vegetables in my vegetable patch, and I just had an idea that I thought was absolutely epic. I have to cover this entire area with netting, not only because I have foxes and rats roaming this area, but I get quite a lot of trouble with cats. There's quite a few cats that live in the area, and I don't have cats, so they use my garden to poop in. I always have issues with these sticks. When you put them in the soil, they always lean over, and then the netting also goes with it, and gaps appear, and the foxes can get in and bury fish like they did last year. And the rats come in and they steal the seeds. I just went and got a bunch of these cable clips, and I've been attaching them. Let me show you. I've been attaching them directly onto this decking that I've been using for my planters, and that is holding them perfectly in place. I feel like this is an amazing idea and it's going to work really well. I thought I'd just share that little tip with you. I guess only time will tell if this little hack actually works, but I'm going to try it so you don't have to. Once I'd secured the bamboo sticks going upwards, I actually tied some bamboo sticks to the top. This will make it easier for when I put the net over the top. I didn't have quite enough net, which is always the way, but I did the best that I could with what I had. At the base, I secured it with ground pegs, and at the top, I secured it with clothes pegs. This may seem really overkill, but honestly, it's amazing how the animals can get in here. Rats in particular, because they can fit into the smallest of spaces. But also, the fox is really sly. It can get in anywhere. So this was actually some leftover footage I had. I did this gardening on the weekend, which is also why I don't have a big ugly plaster on my face, after injuring it yesterday with my belt sander. But I will give you more details a bit later on in the video on how I'm recovering. You'll also see me in this video messing around with the water butt. This was before I levelled the ground in one of my previous videos. So don't worry, I've not been messing around with it again, I promise. Let's jump to today. I've just come out to the greenhouse to check on one of my seeds that I planted last week to discover that the rats, or perhaps mice, I'm not too sure, have dug up all of my seeds. Look at this absolute carnage. These poor little seeds were rooting and they've just munched right through them. They've dug up absolutely everything. These pots actually had nothing in. Suckers! That they've dug up. They've dug up whatever was in there. Sunflowers, they've had those. They weren't too keen on the beans, but they dug them up to have a little look. They definitely like these squash. Little sods. Any advice on how to prevent rodents from eating everything in your greenhouse? I need to know. Okay, they haven't taken absolutely every seed. As you can see, here's a sweet pea that is doing all right there. I'll cover him back up. But they have eaten quite a lot, so I guess I'll wait to see what comes up. Some of these I might replant anyway, just in the hope that there might be enough of the seed left to produce something that actually looks pretty solid. They've just dug it up. Oh, sorry, Mr. Seed. There you go. Put you back in there. Very interested in this area just here. As you can see, there's no weeds that have been grown, and the area dips ever so slightly to go underneath the shed. Now, I happen to know that rats have been under here previous springs, having their offspring, So I suspect they've come back and I think they're living underneath there. I have to say, it's so funny to me that I'm making this video about how they've dug up everything in my greenhouse after spending all of that time protecting the plants outside of the greenhouse. At a time, I think, to come and check to see if the rats are still living in the drain, to see if my rat one-way system is working or not. I don't want to brag about my skills, but I feel like I'm getting this down, taking this drain hole cover off. It was loads faster this time, though I did need 2 hands. Okay, well here's the drain hole. I don't know if I could... Well, that actually looks like a rat poop. And that must be new because I cleaned this out. So I don't know if that means that they're getting through there or they might be coming through that side. Interesting. I'll keep reviewing this. That definitely looks like a rat poo, because the other way they could be getting in is through this drain. Then they'd have to swim under the S bend to be able to walk down there. But I guess that's not impossible because rats do that. But I'll keep an eye on this and see how it develops. Despite setting up this entire gated residence, the cats have still managed to come through and nose through my soil. Look at these little paw prints. Oh, nosy beggars, aren't they? Thankfully they didn't poop, so that's a win. If you're interested in how my injury on my nose is looking today after I scraged it yesterday, this is your chance to have a look. If you don't want to know, you can look away. It's honestly not that bad. As you can see, it's already healing really nicely. My sister bought a house within the last year, so of course we're just getting to the point now where it's possible to start doing some renovation to it. And I popped over today with the lure of dinner, and I turned up to these sights. Exhibit A, in the middle of sanding her floor, having just taken the carpet up. And Exhibit B, dismantling this fireplace. I make jokes, but to be honest, dinner and DIY is pretty much my idea of a good time. Let me show you what we're just doing in this fireplace. So this fireplace, this is a 1930s house, and it had a fireplace in this location that is not original to the house. And because of that, bricks have been built into this space after the house was built. And I know that because these bricks have been built directly on the concrete, whereas the original bricks for the fireplace go down further into the floor. And as you can see here, there is a thick line between these 2 sets of bricks. This is part of the original house, and this was one that was built a little bit later. There's also been a brick wall built inside. This was probably to make the fireplace slightly smaller so that it would be easier to have a fire in here at some point in the house's life. There's nothing supporting above here, so we decided to take this part of the fireplace out. We are also likely to take these 2 additional pieces of the fireplace out. We haven't done that yet because I can't quite tell what's going on with the lintel here. It's very likely that this lintel is expanding all the way across and is attached in with the original brickwork of the fireplace. But since I can't tell that yet, it's not safe for us to take this out because it may well be supporting this lintel by itself. And if that was the case, it would be supporting this entire wall above. So obviously it wouldn't be a great idea to take that out if we don't know what it's supporting. So a bit more investigative work needed before we can take those side bits out. But the idea is that we can get to a point where we could take out any of the bits that aren't native to the house and have a big, beautiful fireplace. I've had a couple of suggestions already from people across my socials on how to manage my rat/mouse problem. One of those ways is to bring my plants inside until they have matured from seedlings, from seeds into seedlings, from seedlings into plants. And another would be to put some either mesh on top of the plants or a propagation lid to stop the rodents from getting in.
But if you have any other ideas, I would love to hear about them in the comments. You can help me save my veg. And as always, if you've enjoyed watching this episode, don't forget to subscribe.